YouTube, what is going on? It's Hoyo versus #1 shill. Me, I have returned. I love Genshin Impact. It's the greatest game of all time. Today we're watching another video. So today we are watching Doro's. If I started Genshin Impact in 2024, I'd do this. I am actually going to be dropping a full guide on Genshin Impact. I'm going to be making a new guide for all new players coming in for Natlan and just giving genuine, honest advice and really what you should be doing and how the game works. But I'm curious to see what Doro has to say. I like Doro. I really like Doro's content a lot. I think Doro gets a lot of flack for no reason, and I think Doro's been playing the game for a while and he has valuable information, so let's watch it and see what happens, what we agree with, what we don't disagree with. Doro, I think you're a cutie patootie, you're 6 foot tall, step on me, let's go.
Welcome back, YouTube, to the channel. So,
hi Doro, welcome back.
Almost here in Genshin Impact, and I thought it'd be a good time to make a video on if I were to start Genshin Impact over from the very start with all the knowledge that I have. Go back in time, 2020, when the world was on fire. What would I do differently?
No, what do we? I'd probably uninstall. I'd probably read down and uninstall though. Like, I'd probably go play Windowing Waves. Go play Windowing Waves. Koros, add me to the content creator program.
And I posed this question on my Twitter. I'm hoping that this video can be helpful for new players before they start, because I think right now it's a good time for people to start playing Genshin. You have so much content to catch up on, and then a new big update is coming soon. So hopefully this video can help new players if they're trying to play the game or not. And if you're already playing Genshin, maybe it's just a fun video for you just to see what other people think and what they would do differently. Before we get into what the community has said, I wanted to give you guys some of my things that I would particularly do differently if I started Genshin Impact over.
I would say off rip, the thing I'd probably do differently is actually explore more. I was really bad at exploration in Genshin, and it took me a very long time to unlock the full map when I don't even have all of the maps still unlocked yet. That is a very good source of primo gems and just understanding the map and the locations. And I would do the world quests that are important. I mean, how would you know unless Googling them? But like, there's still some world quests that I haven't done. Like, I don't have access to Encominia, whatever it's called. Like, I still don't have access to that. I mean, granted, I don't care, but I do think there are certain little things that I would definitely do differently. Not spread your resources so thin, things like that. Don't focus on artifacts, right? You don't want to. The level progression should be actual character levels, talents, weapons, then artifacts. Artifacts should be the last thing, and you shouldn't be touching artifacts until 45. Hold your condense, like all the basic stuff that obviously, again, I'm going to make a full-length video on. But like, I definitely spent condense like an idiot, or fragile, whatever it's called. Fragile resin like an asshole at the beginning of the game, and I was very, very, very not meticulous in my resources. Also figuring out what the characters do. I think it sounds a little weird, but I feel like when you come to a gacha game like this and you don't know what's happening, like someone like myself, you go in not knowing what character's good, and like you might roll for like someone like Albedo. No shade to Albedo lovers, but like you're like, oh, this character's really cool, and now you're just stuck with a random sub DPS, and let's say you got Mona on your character. Like, now what do you have as a main DPS? You know what I'm saying? So I would also low-key kind of familiarize myself with the game a little bit before I played. I'm not going to lie to you. I really just went in. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. But I do think it is not a bad thing to look at a tier list or look at some characters. And even if you just want to see who looks cool, who interests you, and who you should save for, who's on the upcoming banners and whatnot, I think that's actually a very underrated piece of advice that I don't see a lot of people give out a lot. Because everyone's like, oh, just enjoy the game and play the game. And you should. You should play the game that you want to. You should go into it enjoying it. But I think when you're dealing with a gacha game that revolves around resources, and especially trying to be free to play, not spending money, you should be a little prepared. That's what I did going into Windowing Waves, you know? So I learned from my mistake. Let's go. Let's see what happens.
Starting with not spending as much money as I have. Last year alone.
Yeah, bro, you could have just PayPal me that. C-Cigar Kino, you could have just PayPal me that. It was whatever.
I think I spent $13,000, but a lot of that was for giveaways. I gave back to my community.
Wait, so 13,000. So like, so right now I have $5 in my bank account. If Doro would have just PayPal me the 13 grand, I'd have roughly around $13,005 in my account. Doro, I'm just saying, man, my PayPal's always open. Yeah, I love this guy.
I give away so many primos and
let's go to W man.
I'm not even lying to you. About half of that money, so about 6,000, was poured back to my community and the community in general.
Yeah,
I'm still spending money on the game. Okay, so and then the other half was
Shout out to Doro, man. Again, I just want to make this abundantly clear. I really like Doro. And he's just a good dude. He's just a really, really good dude. I really don't understand the hate for this homie. An absolute legend. Giving 6 to 7K back to your community when you really don't have to. Like, he doesn't have to do that. So, yeah, I'm glazing. But so, fuck what I'm saying.
You know, for my stuff. But if I wasn't making content, I would definitely not spend as much
for
money.
sure, without
Maybe
a doubt.
the Welkin and the Battle Pass.
I'd probably be free to play.
That's it. I've been saying this a lot recently, but I think it is more rewarding to be F2P because then the characters that you get are more special to you, right? And you have to plan and be strategic in the patience. Like, it's just more fun that way, in my opinion. Because, like, people get benched. It's just like, you're gonna get bored of all your characters. Building all of them is not fun. So definitely not spending as much money would be like my number one thing. So if you're starting the first time, don't spend money, please, for the love of God. Don't.
Being free to play, as someone who's been a whale and who's done account takeovers on free to play accounts, on whale accounts, on my account, and have played on a million accounts, there is a genuine satisfaction of being free to play that it's not as it's more rewarding than spending money. It genuinely is, because, like, yo, I just beat this hard-ass content by not spending cash. Now, there's nothing wrong with spending money, but, like, I'll tell you straight up, I said this in my other video, I don't play my own account anymore. It's not like I have C6s or anything like that, but I have legitimately the 2 best teams in the game, and I don't feel the need to go on my account and improve it anymore. And my 2 best teams, they're not even, like, the most optimal terms of stat-wise, talent-wise. On Akasha, I'm ranked like 50 for Nervalet or something, but him and Farina, Kaza, Zhongli, 1/2, those shreds, Hyperbloom bottom, like, it doesn't matter. You know, nothing matters on my account now. I can comfortably clear everything. And it's made, or Arlecchino, you know, I have Arlecchino, right? My Arlecchino build is very mad. I think it's like 70 over 170 or something. It's not really good. And so there really is a satisfaction for just going in, playing the game. Free-to-play means planning out the characters you want and being more strategic with your own gameplay. Because when you whale and you buy everyone, there's so many options. It's just like, not really having fun anymore. So, yeah, that's a massive, massive W.
Don't spend money. If you stick with it for a bit and you like it, maybe the Welkin, which gives you, like...
Zounzoe. Zounzoe is a scam. It's Zounzoe. Don't spend any money. Don't do it.
Primo gems just for logging in every day. It's like $5 a month. And the battle pass.
Go to my Twitch chat, execute your ID, go spend money, and send it to me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay.
Pass, which is 10. I'd say those are worth it for the rewards and stuff. But other than that, keep your wallet safe, okay? Please pay your bills. Don't eat ramen and ice soup, please.
Actually streaming from McDonald's right now.
Another thing that I would do, which I still don't do this, but is pick up everything. Like, while you're running around
for sure.
Vast open world.
Oh my God.
Genshin Impact. Literally, if you see a flower, pick it up. Pick it the fuck up.
I was literally about to say, bro, if you see any single flower or anything that looks like a variation of a flower or a shell, like a conch if you're in Fontaine, bro, pick that up. You do not want to be that one dude who goes on that Genshin interactive map to find the flowers that you need to pull for your characters. It's me. I'm this dude. I have no resources. I picked up nothing for anything, and I am now poor. And these flowers take forever to respawn. So please, for the love of Christ, pick up everything. Please.
You see a bug? Pick it up. You see a lawn? Pick her up. Pick everything up. I'm an AR-60 player now who has like 2 flowers. I can't make soup anymore in the game. Do you know how bad that is, dude? Oh, a bonus thing that I just thought about, my next point, which kind of goes off of picking everything up. God, if I can go back in time, oh my Lord, I would do this in a heartbeat. If you plan to collect like the Oculuses that level up your statues and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely do that.
The interactive map from the start and track that. I've picked up random stuff from random places, so if I try to track it now, it's gonna be harder for me to do it. If you're liking the game, you're like, yeah, I'm really getting.
All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the only thing you gotta have to track is Leeway and Mondstadt Oculus. Track those. Everything else, to me, personally, I think it's whatever, but that's how I play the game. This is very good advice, but this is very, like, this can get annoying. I'd rather track it region by region by region and just delete the pins in game. Because if you're going to third-party websites, as someone who's done that, and at the beginning I try to track all my resources and everything in these third-party websites, it was so overwhelming, and I personally didn't want to do it. If you're organized, I'm not an organized person, as you can tell. Just do it. But I personally, I don't disagree with this, but I do think it's better to track it in game. And really, the ones that affect your stamina are the Mondstadt, Leeway. The other ones are just for like rewards for the trees, which I don't even have max on. I don't think I have max on any of the trees other than Mondstadt and Leeway. And I just got that like earlier in the year because a homie did it for me after 2 years of playing the game. I didn't have max stamina because I wasn't doing it. So, but that is very solid advice. I just personally wouldn't go that hard on it.
Getting into it, I want to collect everything. Use the interactive map from the start, from the beginning, and track your progress that way. It'll make 100%ing your exploration and all that stuff so much easier. You'll thank me later. Trust me. You'll come back years later and be like, whoa.
Doro once said to use the interactive map. I gotta go thank that guy.
And I'll be here and I'll appreciate it. Another thing, and my community knows this, I'm very bad at this. I'm very, 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 very bad at this. Doing my world quests, my side quests. I have so many world quests now, just piled up. I get overwhelmed now. I've let it build into this monstrosity. It's horrible. I'm kind of scared that I might never do them now because there's just so many. So knock them out. They're easy, bro. They're like easy little world quests. There's some longer ones as well so that you're not overwhelmed later on. Like me. I only have 2 more points for myself. One of the biggest.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think a lot of the world quests are a waste of time. If you're free to play and you need every single little source of a primo gem to do, go for it. But the problem with the world questing is that there's just so much yapping and so much nonsense that doesn't matter and unvoiced dialogue. And spending an hour doing a world quest for 40 primo gems is just not my style. I'd rather just explore. And obviously, like, again, if you're super duper 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 free to play, and I'm recommending being free to play, but I'm also telling you, the world quests, they're long. So I'm not saying don't do them, but go into them knowing they're going to take a while and the reward is very not worth the time investment. That's all I'm saying. That way I actually dropped a video on the problems of Genshin if you want to go check that out. But just keep that in mind. He's not wrong about doing the world quests, but I personally am not doing them because, hey, 3 hours for 100 primo gems, not my style. That's why I got my mom's credit card.
Things that I would do differently if I started again from zero is only building 1 or 2
that's what we said earlier.
At a time. No one else. And before we get into the video, I just want to say a big thank you to today's sponsor, Cat Fantasy.
Yo, shout out to Cat Fantasy.
Is an
W sponsor, my man.
Anime style 3D tournament sponsoring today's video.
We love Doro. Doro, get that bag, brother. Get that bag.
For yourself. There's a link in my description.
Check it out right now.
Anyways, let's get back to the video. One of my biggest mistakes when I started was spreading my.
I haven't done the Dragon Spine quest because I'm a pussy. That's the most relatable thing I've ever seen. Yo, shout out to whoever this is. Oh my god.
I was like, ooh, I got a new character. I wanna build them. And then I rebuild them and they're not good. Yeah, and now I'm at a point now where I have a lot of characters and some of them are very well built and then a lot of them are focus on those characters only, make them really good, understand how they work, then you move on. And I've been
this ties into my point earlier of trying to understand the meta a little bit, because it's not that you need to play the game in a meta style, because realistically you can beat the game with literally anyone. You can beat the game with the starting traveler and the starting weapon and leveling it up. But the benefits of understanding the meta is to know what teams to build, what synergizes with what, how the elemental reactions work, how much elemental mastery you need for a reaction, how much defense you need for this, or whatever the case may be. Whatever you need, understanding the meta or doing a little bit of research on the game itself prevents you from building the most weird, random dog shit characters. There's a homegirl with a guitar. I think her name is Jean or something. I don't know what the fuck she does. I don't know what she does. She's trash. There's a lot of characters in this game that are just unfortunately really not that great. And so I'll do a tier list separately going over my full thoughts, but just keep in mind, like, he's 100% right. The end game requires 8 characters in total, 2 teams of 4. Figure out who you want, figure out the vibes, what fits your play style, or maybe you're just playing for fashion, right? Maybe you're just playing for fashion, like fashion impact's a real thing, whatever the case may be. But for newer players, obviously do what you feel is best. But I do think there is an importance of having a surface level. I'm not trying to tell you to understand forward vaping or all these other weird terminologies and things that I don't even pay attention to or understand because it's not required, right? Like, I'm literally the greatest Genshin Impact player of all time. I'm a fucking professional. Half the things the theory crafters are saying, like, goes over my head. Don't need it. Don't need it. Don't want it. But have an understanding of what works. And so then that allows you to know who you want to build and what not. So
trying to do that in Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero and even Weathering Waves.
What
you know,
it's actually Widowing Waves, Mr. Doll. It's Widowing. It's called Widowing Waves.
That's what I'm doing, and it helps a lot. And then I guess my last thing that I would do personally, if I was to start over, before we get into what the community has said, don't force yourself to like rush or catch up on things.
Bro.
Enjoy the game, dude. Especially for new players, if you're watching this video before Natlan comes out and stuff, I get it. You want to get to Natlan as quick as you can, dude. You have so much content, and Natlan is not going anywhere. Trust me. Enjoy the story, enjoy the exploration, enjoy what the game has to offer. You'll enjoy it more if you do that versus trying to rush everything, skipping through stuff. I see so many people that are just like, I got nothing to do now, because they like literally rush through everything. You'll thank me later. But let's turn it
100% accurate. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the game for what it is. Go into the game with no expectations and just have fun. There's a big segment of the community, including myself, where I complain about the game a lot. But some people just love it for what it is, man. And I think that's okay. I think the storytelling is not my favorite. But I do think you should at least go through it and enjoy it for yourself and make your own opinions and figure out what you like and what you don't like. You know, don't rush to endgame, because there is no endgame. There's nothing out there. When you finish the main Archon quest for all the Archon quest, there's nothing to do other than the Abyss. There's nothing to do other than the Abyss. Maybe you could do the Imaginary Theater, but there's really nothing else to do. Like, once you do that, you're going to drop the game most likely. I mean, obviously, Natlan's coming out, and so you have a new map, and like, you know, but like after version 5.2, 5.3, like they might add like another expansion or two, but like there really isn't much to do. So enjoy the game for what it is, have fun, and just play at your own pace. If you want to log in every day, that's great, but don't make it a secondary job to the point where like, you know, you burn yourself out in a month, because then you're going to wind up hating the game and resenting it. And also, don't put expectations on this game for what you want it to be, because it's not going to be what you want it to be. Just genuinely. It's a good game at the core level. It fundamentally has a million problems, and the potential ceiling is so high, but a lot of people, including myself, complain about the fact that the potential is not going to ever be fully reached. And so when you just take a step back and enjoy it, it's fun. It is fun. So, yeah, I agree.
To the
big
best
agree here.
place
Big agree, my
ever
main Doro.
for the Genshin Impact community, the most positive, non-toxic
Twitter,
or as some people call it, X. Again, I said if you were able to start Genshin Impact over again, what would you do differently? It's for a video. Loba Pixel says, not play as much as I did or grind through it every day. I mean, I know Loba, and this is no shade toward Loba, but I know that they're kind of done with Genshin because they've moved on to like Wuwa and stuff. I think this point is trying to say what I said, is to not rush it, because then you
shout out to my boy Loba, bro. Yeah, I bring up my boy Loba Pixel, by the way.
I think Loba is burnt out on the game. That's what he's trying to say. At least that's what I'm interpreting it as.
No, he is. He
My boy Mr. Feet. Let's see what he says. Pick 2 characters to level up consistently for your team when you progress. You can very easily get caught up on wanting to level and try everyone, but that can harm your account's progression early on because purple books are pretty rare in the early game. Your resources are so limited, especially in the early game, and he knows better than anyone. If you don't believe Mr. Feet, I don't know what to tell you.
Bro, Mr. Feet literally replays the beginning of Genshin every other week and just does like wild challenges. Dude has more experience as a beginner player than more beginner players. Like, out of the 60 million people that have played the game for the first time ever, Mr. Feet has more experience than all 60 million of them combined. So yeah,
he literally starts the game over every day at this point. Listen to him. I would not wail to chase Wolf's Gravestone on that standard banner just because it looks cool. Funny enough, a lot of people tried to get Wolf's Gravestone. This is a really good tip for new players. Do not spend money on the standard banner. If you want to spend money on a banner, do it on the limited banner. Limited banner, weapon banner. We don't talk about that though. Don't do that. I remember when I first started, I really wanted to spend money in my Primo Gems on standard. Don't do that though. Not worth it. Ooh, this is a good one.
Yeah,
I stopped myself from looking up any information.
God damn it, Doro's editors. Okay, I'm staying in one spot. I can't do it.
Information about tier lists. The first month was hilarious.
So looking up any information about the tier list, the first month was hilarious. Too much conflicting information. It wasn't even worth sifting through all that. Debate Club was considered the best weapon for Claymore. Bennett was D tier. Shingling was bad. Let's hear what his take is. I think that this is a weird take because this is at the beginning of the game where I think you have to take this sounds this sounds like it was at the beginning of the game when nobody knew what was happening and everybody thought everyone was wrong about everything. People were skipping Kazuha because they thought that he was a bad unit, Venti was better. So from just based on what I'm seeing in this, I understand their point here, but I don't know if it necessarily correlates because we are now 4 years into the game, and I think promoting not looking up anything about the game will do more detriment than good, due to the fact that now we have solid, concrete evidence of things. Shengling's goated. Debate Club is not a good weapon. I mean, like, you know, that is like their experience, and their experience is 100% valid, especially, again, at the beginning of the game, but we are not in that portion. Like, if it's like with Widowing Waves, when people look up, like, Calchero, and including myself, I thought Calchero was really good at the beginning of the game, and then as more characters release and as you get more game time, and you're like, wait a second, this character is really not that great. They're really mid or just not that good. So I don't know if I don't agree with this. I know I don't agree with this because I think that it's an unfair comparison, and I think, again, it's very good understanding the basic parts of the meta. So I'm curious to see what Doro says.
Too much conflicting information, and it wasn't even worth sifting through all of that. Debate Club was considered the best weapon for Claymores. Bennett was D tier. Shangling was bad. I remember this. Yeah, it's different now. I would say tier lists are different now, but I will say this. Pull for who you want and not really care about what other people say or what tier lists are telling me, unless that is how I'm trying to play. If I'm trying to play meta, yeah, I guess you could do that, but I would say pull for who you think looks cool, but also do your due diligence. Definitely do a little bit more research.
It's Doro, like, if you want to hang out sometime, I was just saying, because, like, we on the same, we taking the same thing, what are we?
Search to see, okay, I like them, but will I like playing them? Are they decent? You know, most characters in the game are, and don't really take content creators or people's, like, opinions, like, to heart, and, like,
you can only play this team and everyone else is so bad.
Because there's so much conflict.
No, I think that's valid. I think everyone's opinion is bad except mine, though. I think you have to play the teams that I recommend. If you don't play the teams that I recommend, I think you're actually going to fail at the video game. Look at Mr. Pokey. Mr. Pokey went to the best and he fucking died. It's his fault. First of all, he's a Hoyo show, but it's his fault because he didn't message me. Just saying.
Information out there. Play who you want. Do a little bit of research if you really want to get them or not.
No, you literally could beat the game with anyone, though. You could beat the game with anyone, any team comp possible. You literally just have to grind and work your ass off, but anyone can work, so yeah.
Before you spend money. Spend resin.
Except for Mr. Pokey.
I was so caught up in exploring the overworld, I didn't bother building characters or doing domains until I had already hit AR35, at which point I needed to level things up past what I had. Yeah, I would say for artifacts, you still want to wait till AR45 to really farm artifacts, but in the early game, do not forget your talents. Oh my God, bro. Use your resin every day when you play, at least, to level up your character or their talents or their weapons. Definitely do that, bro. Oh, someone said this in
Definitely. The second you unlock that resin, bro, find a talent domain, find a Lee line, do something. Make sure if you're going to play the game for 5 minutes and you're like, what do? I don't even have time to do my dailies. Use your resin. You will get more out of your resin consumption being gone every day as opposed to doing dailies to get 90 primo gems or whatever it is. Because the resin regenerates, I think now it's like every 24 hours it fills it up because that 200. But resin is very important. Again, don't use resin for artifacts before 45. Don't worry about artifacts till 45 in general. And then just use that. The second you unlock it, bang it out. Use it. Figure out which one to use it on. Lock it down. Talents and Lee lines are one of the best things. Someone says something in the chat. Let's see what he says.
Chat, and this is actually a very good point. If I could start Genshin Impact over again, I would not neglect my 4 stars and my support characters. For the longest time, I didn't give a shit about my 4 stars or my supports. I was like, they're 4 stars. They're not good. They're just my supports. Whatever. They're not good. You can make your main DPS insanely good, but
I want to show you, if anyone new watching this video, this is the probably like the 3rd character you get in the video game. We were in year 4, and this is still the most broken pyro DPS in the game. Maybe the 2nd most broken pyro DPS in the game. 4 stars are amazing, and supports enable your characters to do way more damage or give them a ton of buffs. Don't neglect 4 stars. Don't neglect supports. Don't neglect Shangling. Bennett, Zincho, Shangling, Kuki Shinobu. I mean, the list goes on. Even Noelle, she's a shielder. You get her for free. She's very good, too. She's not on the level of those, but, you know, Noelle is still valid. Noelle's nowhere near these, but she's still good. Barber's good. I mean, don't sleep on your supports. Your supports, in some cases, are better than your main DPS units, and so I think that we really need to keep that in mind when you do these types of things, due to the fact that you could get caught up in just trying to see big damage numbers from your main DPS, but you're holding yourself back if you're not running your Bennett circle, if you're not applying your vapes, if you're not using Shang Lang. So very, very solid point that I honestly wouldn't have even thought of. I kind of thought it's second nature. I think of it immediately because it's second nature to me. So yeah, that's valid.
But they have
for sure.
Supports. Dude,
Yeah,
you're nerfing them. Build up your supports. You will.
Okay, now Farazan. Don't build Farazan.
Do not neglect your 4-star.
Don't build Farazan unless you see 6. I'm saving you so much. And if you use Animal, please don't do that. I'm just going to let you know.
Do not neglect your supports.
Sounds though it.
Because they are just as
Sounds
important,
though
if
it.
not even more important than your
Yup.
main.
Yeah. True and real. I'd build more characters early on. W Autumn. Shout out to Auto.
My girlfriend, Audie33.
W Auto.
I'd build more characters early on.
No, what do we shoot white though? Shoot what do we white?
Why? Why would you do that?
No, shoot white though, please.
Fix your account for you. You don't need to do that. Knowing how Audie's account looks, yes, build your characters early on. Audie, you still could do it. Just trust me when I say that. Just trust me. Let's see. Hades says, I'd save my fragile resin and use my actual resin more than guaranteed mass rather than artifacts. That is a very big one right here. Your fragile resin, in my opinion, is more rare than your premium. I don't care if you have 2P or not, because without
Well, that's what I
fragile
said
resin,
earlier.
then
Oh my
you're
god,
limited
man.
to the resin that you get every day. You can technically buy more resin with your primo gems, but again, you're limited on that too. I think your fragile resin is the most rare thing on your account. Stockpile that and then just use your daily resin in the beginning for sure. Oh yeah, a lot of people do this mistake in the beginning. They see the fragile resin, they use it, but then they hit AR45 and then now they have to do the artifact grind, and then it's just like, oh, I don't have any more fragile resin. Save it, especially since until AR45. Oh, you'll thank me later, bro. You'll thank me later for sure. All right, replay monster.
I don't need to reiterate anything. Everything Doro said is true. I said this earlier. Doro is absolutely spitting. Don't use your resin. Just use resin. It's like there's nothing for me to go over there. He is absolutely spitting. Doro editors, please keep me in one spot. Jesus, please. I don't want to cover the mans, but I'm also like, how many times am I going to read myself?
Saying leeway entirely, including character quests, site, and main quest. Honestly, this is base. Yes, dude. Oh my god. When I first started, I wasn't really paying attention that much to the Mondstadt and leeway story. I've thought about starting a new account just so I can do the Mondstadt and leeway story quests again.
I'm going to save you 4 hours. Okay? Traveler! We just met 2 months ago. You want to go find your sibling? You see a statue? Go touch a statue over there. When do we touch a statue over there? Traveler! There's some dude. He's playing these fucking instruments, and there's a fucking dragon. The dragon fell from the sky, and there's so many things happening, and then a bagger with the big boobies came out. So that's the first. That's Mondstadt. Leeway is How to Train Your Dragon Part 3. You're welcome. By the way, don't replay it. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, that's a base take. Also, I love the Capitano. All right, what does Dana say? I wish I wouldn't stop playing at some point. I miss a lot of great events. That is a big one. Yeah, I think the limited events are built into the game to create FOMO, which kind of sucks because I told you guys earlier to not try to play every day and don't burn yourself out. But I would say at least do your events, especially if there's a
This comes down to this is a deeper issue that I already covered in a different video that I'm not going to go too deep into. Excuse me, but Honkai Star Rail does a great job of just absolutely covering and taking care of everything and making everything permanent to the point where you can go back and play them. I don't think the reward threshold is the same as it was if you originally played it, but Honkai Star Rail has a very good player base. They make millions and millions and millions and millions. They probably made a billy already. Probably made a couple billies already. I do wish that they would archive events. I get what that person is saying. I wish I would stop. I wish I wouldn't have stopped playing so I don't miss the events, especially the story events, because some of these story events are really great from what I've been told, and I've experienced some of them. But yeah, that's massive. That's a good take. And that comes down to more of like my commentary, and that is more of a design philosophy that I disagree with. But the actual take itself, I do agree with. So I'm not going to go into a long rant. That person is
the
cooking.
story
They're
tied to them,
spinning,
because there
for
are
sure.
some events that have massive lore stuff in it, and if you miss it, 'cause we don't have a theater, like built-in theater to like rewatch stuff. At that point, you got to watch a YouTuber's playthrough on it. I mean, you also get rewarded for it too, so might as well do them, right? Do not waste time on trying to max physical DPS. Hey, look, at the time I was playing, Eula was pretty fucking good. You know what? Going off of this, yes, I agree. If I could go back in time, I would focus more on my elemental reactions and learning how to use them. Your elemental reactions will carry you, dude. And they're very important later on. There's literally a domain that tells you how to do them. And then learn the Dendro ones. Focus on those. They will carry you.
On,
oh my God. Okay, we have
Come on, say it's just too easy. It's just too easy. Oh my God, yo. Oh my God, we in sync. We in
to
sync.
read this one, chat.
That's
Possibly uninstall sooner.
True.
The game has claimed too much of my wallet real estate. But for real, probably instead to play as F2P, game was more fun when I didn't buy everyone. Yeah, I agree with that. Don't spend money in the game. Spend as little as you can. It makes the game more fun and more rewarding. Being completely honest with you, this game is designed to take your money. You know, cool new character, Spiral Abyss is gonna be easier for you if you get the new characters on the banner, stuff like that. Don't fall into that trap of the money pit. If I'm being completely serious, it can be very dangerous, especially if you have like an addictive personality. It can be bad if you fall into that trap. So just be mindful, control your spending habits, control yourself, but don't spend money. What does this say? Not download it or play it. I would take back all the time I wasted.
True in real time too.
See, okay, is it wasted if you had fun though? If they didn't have fun, then it was probably a waste. In my opinion, going off of this, if it was time that you had fun with and you met cool people, then it's not a waste of your time, in my opinion. At the end of the day, bro, video games are a waste of your fucking time. If you really want to break it down, right? Video games are meant as an entertainment thing. I'm not shitting this person, by the way. I understand what they're trying to say. I mean, if you had fun with it, it's not really a waste.
I don't know if video games are a waste of your time, sidebar. I think that's I'm not even going to go into that, but I don't think that's a waste of your time, truthfully.
It's a time, in my opinion, but yeah. Level up Bennett, Xiangling, and Sing Cho first. Yeah.
Valid. That is literally the best advice you could ever get. Shout out to Kemya. Kemyali, actually the greatest advice you could possibly get for sure. That team is going to work with almost any single 5-star or just any DPS unit. That team in itself is literally DPS.
Yes, build your Bennett, build your Xiangling, build your Sing Cho. Those three characters right there are some of the most OP fucking characters in
They
this
work
game.
with
I still
anything.
use them, bro. Do not neglect them just because they're 4 stars or whatever. Use them. Prioritize old rerun units over newer units that'll definitely get reruns soon. That is, this is another thing. Remind yourself that if you can't get a character, that's fine. Every fucking character gets a rerun someday. Do not fall into FOMO, fear of missing out. Do not fall into that, especially early game. Just wait.
That's massive. I do think that you need to have a genuine level of self-control and people are not going to want to hear this, but it's the truth. The realistic position on these gacha games, or at least the Hoyoverse Sphere and the Widowing Waves, is that obviously FOMO is rampant, but at the end of the day, you can clear the content with all vanilla characters. You could. Now, it's going to be harder, and you have to think more, and you have to have more discipline. You need to have better builds and better strategies. But realistically, at the end of the day, FOMO should not come into your mind. I understand why it would, but it shouldn't, because and sometimes it even comes to my mind, like even like this most recent banner character, Emily. I don't think she's good, but I'm like, what if it drops someone in Natlan that's good with her? Who cares? Who cares? The extra 10k of Dendro damage is not going to make a difference on my Nouvelette build that does like 100,000 damage already. You know what I mean? Like it's not worth it. And so I feel like when you're feeling that, take a step back and kind of ground yourself on more of, okay, is it worth it? Is it worth it for me to spend the money? And is it worth it for me to have this feeling? And like, realistically, once you get that character, eventually, once you start collecting a bunch of them, like they said, the game just comes so easy to the point where you really don't enjoy it as much, you know? So I do think that obviously FOMO is very real, and these games are 100% designed to make you feel that. But take a step back and remember, like, you don't need these units. Everyone, including myself, this is a must-have unit. And I say that with someone like Nouvelette, someone like Frina. Save your currencies for those, of course. But at the end of the day, you know, you could still get them free-to-play means. Don't wail for them. If you miss out on Zhongli, all right, it's all good. Learn how to dodge for a year, and then when he comes back around, you probably won't even want him again. You know what I'm saying? Things change. Meta changes. The game changes. The game evolves. Metas evolve. And so just don't let that feeling take control. because that's when you go down a really deep rabbit hole where it's like you could potentially not recover. So yeah, for sure.
Be patient.
What if they're gonna mention the weapon banner?
If Kave's on a banner, you f***ing pull. I always say don't pull for 4 stars, but if
Kave's
Kave's
trash.
there, you pull. I don't give a f who the 5 star is. You pull.
I love you,
I
Doro.
guess one of the last things I will say that I'm seeing here is don't wish for 4 stars. Like if you see a 4 star on a banner, unless it's Kave and you don't like the 5 star, do not pull for the 4 star. Dude. You will end up getting the 5 star or another 5 star you don't want, and then you're just wasting your primo gems for
Pulling
it.
for 4 stars
You
is a
should only
scam.
pull on banners that have a 5 star that you want. Unless
If you want this Bennett, right? I think
you don't give a f about your primo gems, then you know what, do whatever the f you want, man. But yeah. Yeah, okay, I guess we talked about pretty much everything.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Where is this?
One of the last things I will say that I'm seeing here is don't wish for 4 stars. Like if you see a 4 star on a banner, unless it's Kave and you don't like the 5 star, do not pull for the 4 star. Dude. You will end up getting the 5 star or another 5 star you don't want, and then you're just wasting your primo gems for it. You know, you should only pull.
Understand that pulling for 4 stars is potentially the biggest scam, especially if you don't want the 5 star. If you want the 5 star on said banner, like if you're pulling for Raiden Shogun and you're like, okay, Kujisara at C6 is the best in slot, one of the best in slots, and Benny is just overall one of the best characters in the game, that's great. This is actually funny because this is the character I was talking about earlier. That's absolutely dog shit. You might be looking for C2 Benny because C2 Benny's massive. Gamers. M-dash tier. And C2 Benny changes everything, right? So you're looking for Benny, and then you get 6 of these, and then you're depressed. And then you didn't want Raiden. And now you have pity on this, or you might get Raiden, you're like, I don't want Raiden. So pulling for 4 stars is very tricky. I don't recommend doing it, but I understand why people do it. I've done it myself to get a C2 Benny. I just got really lucky. But just understand that, you know, every 10 pulls you're going to get a 4 star, but there's no guarantee of what's 4 star. Now, should they get a 4 star selector? That's design philosophy. Save that for a different video. This is real. Don't do it. Don't fall into this trap unless you really, really, really need them and you're desperate. And at the end of the day, just stealing your mom's credit card. That's a joke, by the way, but still.
On banners that have a 5 star that you
Zones
want. Unless you don't give a f about your primo gems, then you know what, do whatever you want, man. But, yeah, okay, I guess we talked about pretty much everything, chat. A lot of good input from the Genshin Twitter community, my input as well, and my Twitch chat as well. But if you're watching this video and you want to be part of this conversation, let me know in the comments down below. If you could start Genshin Impact over, what would you do differently? Because for someone who's new watching this video, they can go down in the comment section as well and check out the tips and tricks down there from you guys. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you're planning on getting into Genshin with 5.0 right around the corner, if you've been playing Genshin, you just found the video entertaining, I really appreciate that. Double
D. I love Doro. Doro's amazing, man. Doro's great. That was a great video. Very, very good conversation. Very good topic points there. Yeah, man. I think it just boils down to what you want from the game and your intentions going in. And if you're there just to have fun and kind of whatever, do whatever, right? But it's a very easy game, but the gacha elements are I don't want to say that it takes a minute to learn, but it's not a hard game to understand and to understand the aspects of the characters, the roles, the elements, the meta, etc. But yeah, I think overall it was great stuff. There's things I agreed with, things I don't really think there's anything that I disagree with. I don't know. I have the memory of a P. But with that being said, let me know what you think. I love you. I'll have my own guide out soon. Mwah. I'll see you in the next one. And tell your mom I said, what up, baby?